Peace, peace, peace. What's poppin', my weebles? It's your boy Sincere Seven coming to you live and direct from the Psychonaut Academy of Detroit, the Pad, representing the House of Genesis. You know what I'm saying? Just come to kick it. Y'all know I'm back on lives, back on some talks, kicking it. But you know what I'm saying? Doing a little bit less of the personal and a little bit more of the social, right? The community gathering, right? So as y'all know, I've been in the community as a shaman and a medicine man for over 25 years and operating mostly in Detroit and now amongst the US. And I've enjoyed the role that I've played, in the places that I've been. And now I'm starting to see that what I witnessed in the psychedelic community while I was in it and shifting through it, um, it lacked some things needed. And now being in the alternative health and care more than I am in theogenic realms, I'm seeing things and these same type of situations, issues, or I guess thought processes about the alternative healing community as I am, with the entheogenic community. And I think that one of the greatest things to come to the entheogenic community in the last, 30 plus years has been integration, right? Because although it was what we would call new, right? Because if you think about it, 30 years ago when people was doing mushroom journeys and ayahuasca and all of this, nobody was talking about coming out and integrating. That wasn't even a thought process. That wasn't even a thing, right? But what it did was it brought a lot of accountability to these spaces. It brought a lot of structure. It brought a lot of regulation within these spaces, which before did not have that. And being a part of that through the Condor community and appreciating it, I felt that we needed the same thing in the alternative healing communities. And they say the best way to become successful is if you see a need, you fulfill it. And so what I've been doing is I've been working on crafting the regulations, the accountabilities, the things that we can in the alternative healthcare as well as psychedelic community hold each other and ourselves in our community accountable for what's going on. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that the Western world or Western medicine world does not care about misinformation when it comes and spread through the alternative healthcare practitioner realm. And this is why they protect their realms so strongly. Let one of y'all herbologists say, hey, this herb will cure cancer. This herb will cure HIV. This herb will cure diabetes. Soon as you say that, they on your head. They on your head. They about to sue you. They about to arrest you. You about to go through things because what they're saying is we're not about to allow you to add negativity, lack of knowledge, lack of information to our community and weaken our community. Because the Western medicine community knows that it already has enough on its plate with all of these lawsuits, with all of these people passing away from their medicines and their treatments and different things that happen in different communities, period. Here I said that, things that happen in different communities, period, right? But what they do is they regulate their community so that they can make sure that they keep all bullshit that they have control of outside of. And let's be clear, their methods do operate in a certain way, and you have to follow their rules and regulations to use their methods. This is why there's been individuals who have been arrested for practicing medicine without a license. So if you are an alternative practitioner, that is what you want to avoid at all costs. You want to avoid practicing medicine without a license at all costs, right? So with that being said, how do we speak to our community? How do we explain things to them? How do we give them the assurance that these things will assist them on the challenges and the journeys that they're in the correct manner, right? So what we have now is, since it's an alternative field, then this field is outside of the scope of the Western, and so you regulate yourself. Okay? And so since there is no regulation, what happens is a lot of times practitioners of certain forms or certain modalities will hype up the value or the efficacy of something that they're working with. They'll sell you things that are not going to actually heal you. They'll just assist you, right? But they'll say certain things to give you the impression of things so that they can make that sale, so that they can make that connection, so that they can become that person to serve. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the different things that we have to be cautious of. And these are some of the different things that I'm speaking of when I say the community misinformation filter. So I just got some little rules to live by, if you want to put it like that, to where if you, before you believe what they're telling you, run it through these things, right? And so I'm gonna drop a few of these things on you so that you could be more responsible when finding your alternative practitioner, right? Or whatnot. Like, these are things you want to look for, right? So the first one is, what is the claim exactly? If the claim cannot be stated, you know what I'm saying, like clearly in one sentence, you know, that's a bad sign, right? Because what people will do is they will talk all around a subject, and while they're talking around it, they'll say things like, yeah, you know, these types of things will help with this, that, and the other, and blase blah, like this, that, and the other. Like, you know how people be going to yeah, you know, this is what they need. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even be understanding that this will help, because, you know what I'm saying, hold on, you saying a whole lot. What are you saying exactly? What are you claiming exactly? Are you telling me this will eradicate this disease from your body? Are you saying this will assist in the journey or the challenge that you're having against this by doing this? This will, right? This is what I'm saying, like straight sentences. When people are talking to me, let's say about snake venom, right? They talking about snake venom, and they dealing with something. And you know, woo, woo, woo. So what? So this will cure that? Whoa, hold on. Well, first of all, I don't claim to cure, treat, diagnose, or anything like that. But let me tell you what this will do. This has a peptide in it that will kill off abnormal cells. This has cytotoxins that will kill off cells. This has right? And I'm explaining to them what these things do and how they work and how they operate of such, right? So this is what I mean when I say they got to be able to give you complete sentences. They got to tell you, you know what I'm saying? Yes, no, that is what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more of this. Like, you understand? That is one of the first things, right? If the claim can't be stated, it's a bad sign. We don't want them using vague language, spiritual fog. You just have to feel it. Or people who move the goalposts, right? Well, yeah. All right. Well, no. You just want to make sure. What? How are you sleeping? What? Wait a minute. Now you started off with this is gonna relieve my pain. I've been on it for a week, and now you saying, well, it's gonna start you getting some sleep first. Like, that's not how you start it. You know what I mean? So good claims are specific. What does it do for you? For what condition? In what way? Clarity is the first test of truth when you're dealing with a practitioner. The more clarity they're giving you on everything they're saying, the more you can lean into that, right? If you asking some very clear, very cut questions, and they're answering them very clear, very cut, and with a lot of clarity, good sign. The opposite of that is the opposite of that, right? Okay, so oh, I need somewhere to put the stuff already trimmed. No, I'll just put it right here on the side. Thanksgiving season around here, right? So bear with me while I'm moving some of my stuff around. But yeah, so that's one of the things that you're looking for when you are maybe shopping a practitioner, right? You want the claims to be stated clearly, right? Number two is you want to know if what they're offering you is a cure or is it support. Now, as alternative practitioners, it should never be a cure. That's a little hint. It should never be a cure, right? As an alternative practitioner, you should never be telling anybody, any of your clients, that you can cure them from anything, because you cannot. Okay, let me be very clear. I'm gonna say that again. As an alternative health practitioner, you should never be telling any client that you can cure them from any disease, because you cannot. Because if you do, you are practicing medicine without a license. Okay? I don't care if you tell them, oh, this sea moss will cure your whatever. Using the word cure literally belongs to the Corporation of the United States of America. So that's like using a slogan, like, just do it for Nike. If you use that, what I'm saying, for your clothing line or your shoe line, you will be sued, right? This is what that, but since those laws go into life and death dealing with medical, not only can you be sued, but you can be put into prison. Okay? So it should never be a cure. Right? So that's a good question, right, to ask to see how your practitioner responds. Now, let's go into the understanding of what the word cure means and use a different word. Is this support or is this completion? Like, is this going to completely do what I'm telling you that I'm having an issue with, right? So are you claiming that this cures or supports the body? Because there's some things that if you are having a battle, these things will support that battle. And that's very important, not just to the client to have, but to the practitioner to know and understand, right? So this is where practitioners, the field that we work in, we support the body in different ways while we assist it in ridding itself of certain things. Now, as practitioners, we explain those things in the manner of what's going on in the body, not with a name of a disease. That's again where you get into practicing. All of these things are very important. So, not only to understand if this medicine that you're taking or this product that you're taking or this service that you're taking, if it's just to support you or if to eliminate something, but also to, what am I trimming? Cannabis. The name of it, I don't remember. It was something like a Japanese name, like Oshi or something like that. Um, so, uh, so, oh yeah. So be cautious with that and the knowledge of the practitioner, because if they are using words such as "I can cure this," "I can cure that," "I can diagnose," all of that, that belongs to the FDA, and either you might want to pull their coattail and maybe tag them in this video so they can understand that the words they're using is going to cause them to go down a road of destruction, or if they're not open to listening, you know what I'm saying, and they just start telling you what they know and what they can, then there you go. You kind of understand, what type of energy you're dealing with. So if it's a cure claim or a elimination, we'll say it must meet a higher bar. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that means it eradicates, reverses permanently, and fixes all cases. You don't need anything else, right? Most legitimate practitioners are supportive, not curative. We don't speak about curing anything. We speak about how we support the body in what ways, and until we see what different types of situations, so we can understand where we're at on your challenge or journey, you know what I'm saying, with what you're dealing with. Now, the next thing that you want to know is, how will we know if it worked? Now, I speak about that a lot, right? So you want to ask, what changes? What marker improves? Like, what can we look at to say this was like, for instance, pain relief? Like, that's a big one. You know what I'm saying? People can go home and report back after receiving their venoms for things like arthritis, fibromyalgia, and other pain issues and ailments, and they can tell me like, yo, I was like at 80%, and now I'm like at a 20. Like I can still feel, but like the super shooting pain and is gone. Right, that's a marker that we can kind of look at. Right, how is this measured, and over what time frame? You know what I'm saying? If the answer is you'll feel it, or your vibration will change, like unless this is a spiritual practitioner, that's not really enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean when I say we got to bring back, you know, um, integrity to these spaces, right? Uh, if the doctors can't measure it, then it's not really verification. If there's no measurement, there's no proof. You know what I mean? So we've had individuals who have came and been dealing with challenges with different issues, and they got their, what I'm saying, blood count and reports and all of these types of things. Look at the levels of, different things within their body, depending on what we're dealing with, and then do the works that we do, right? And then go back and get checked again, and they can see clear marker changers, like clearly the viral counts went down, or the whatever it might be that these individuals are dealing with. So it's like, okay, we can see it's not just a vibrational thing, and you'll feel it in your spirit. And those are the type of things you might hear me say if we dealing with some entheogenic work. But listen, when we talking about the body and the physical healing and all of that, that's not the language that I'm going to be using, right? So for me, if there's no measurement, there's no proof. Right now, that doesn't mean that an individual has to measure, right? I'm saying, but you should have the ability to, should you choose to. So for people who are a little bit, on the fence when it comes to dealing with the venoms and or the cambo, sometimes I'll say, all right, well, if you want, go and get your blood work and things done, and then come and do whatever works we do. And then after we're done, go get your works right after that, and then go get your works a few weeks after that, and you can look for yourself and see what has changed, how your blood count has changed, how your white blood cells have changed, how your red blood cells have changed, how the viral counts have changed, whatever things that we might be, right? So we might not do a whole lot, but if it is required or requested, oh, most definitely we can get into it, right? So that's one of those things. Number four, rule number 4, does it confuse feeling better with being healed? Okay, we got to be real cautious about this too, right? Those is two different things. All right. Feeling better can come from the placebo, straight up, reduced inflammation, hope, rest, the changes in your diet if they're following the meal plans, right? So feeling better is just that. It's just feeling better. But that's not, that's not completion. That doesn't mean you're fully healed. That doesn't mean the pathology changed. That doesn't mean the markers improved or the risk decreased. That's what you're looking for, right? So, be cautious of that too, because I speak a lot about plant medicine and how people will do plant medicine journeys and will not allow for the length of time that needs to go by for this to be in its greatest efficacy, right? And it's like people will take the herbs for 3 weeks and then they'll stop taking them. Oh no, I feel better, I'm good. Or, oh man, I've been taking this shit for 3 weeks and I don't feel nothing yet, so it ain't working. So I'm gonna stop doing. Like, no, it ain't no 3 weeks. That's not even a full moon cycle. Them herbs ain't even seeing a full moon cycle while working in your body, right? We looking for damn near a season. You want the herbs to be in your body for up to 3 months before you're looking to be like, okay, I'm done. Like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? 2 months, you really just hitting the sweet spot. That's where you should be starting to feel and look for. And I mean, now don't get it twisted. There's different levels for different herbs and different ailments and things. But generally, if you ain't been on 60 days, and I tell people 90 days minimum, you know what I'm saying? And then you can go to the 120 and then you could reset, you know what I'm saying? See where you at. You could stop and you could check your markers. Again, what are the markers? What are we checking? How do we see where we're at, if we're advancing, if we're making progress or not? This can be very important. And this is also why I tell people don't be so anti-Western medicine, because a lot of times they're the ones who's going to check your progress and give the people the validation that you are doing, or the, excuse me, you are giving them what they need and the medicine is doing what it's supposed to do, right? So let's not be so anti-Western medicine. Work in conjunction, right? Um, so healing means pathology change, markers improve, the risk decrease. If someone treats those as the same thing, be cautious. Okay, be cautious. You don't want nobody selling you false hope, right? And then number 5, here's a big one, which I just spoke on, is testing discouraged. Now I could say this because I try to not say this is a red flag in people about a lot of different things. Everybody operates differently, right? So, but I will say this: if testing is discouraged, that's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? You get those people who will try to put the fear of Western medicine into their works. Don't get no labs. You know, them doctors be lying. All the tests is just programs. You don't need to know truth. You know what I'm saying? It's in you and all of that type of shit. Like, no, what are you talking about? So if you have that type of practitioner, yeah, I would say that's a red flag. And, you know, you might want to look through the rest of these things that we're talking about to see, right, how they operate. Truth does not fear data. You understand what I'm saying? Like when something's true, it doesn't, it does, if, okay, if I'm telling you, okay, here we go, prime example. When COVID was going on, right? Um, you know, we was not getting the vaccines and we were not sheltering in place. We was over here deep as hell. And people would call while we were over here at the Psychonaut Academy in Detroit, and they would be like, oh, I just left the hospital. And they said, I'm positive for COVID. And we would be like, oh shit, you need some camo, come over here. And then they would come over. And when they would get here, the first thing we would say is, yo, take the masks off. You know, we don't wear masks in the healing house. And they'd be like, yo, but I got COVID. Like, I'm positive, like, for sure. Like, I just left the house. And we like, yeah, we all got camo. We not worried, right? And they would be like, damn, okay. And they take the mask off, sit, smoke, chill, whatever, give them medicine, right? So a few times a person asked me, so if you saying that this is going, you know what I'm saying, help to knock viruses out of my body and attack bacteria, so does that mean that if I go to the hospital tomorrow and I get checked that I'm going to be negative? And I was like, I don't know. We don't go to hospitals, you know what I'm saying, for things like that. So I wouldn't know. But I invite you to go and get it verified. And this is what we're talking about right now, right? I didn't discourage it. I was like, hey, 11. I was like, yo, go ahead and get tested. And so they went in there the next day, and a couple of them was calling me back mad at me the next day. I'm like, what are you mad at me for? And it's like, cuz I got to go back to work now. I could have just took them 10 days off, but you telling me to go ahead. I mean, I ain't tell you to. I said you could. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mind. Like, you ain't got tested. Okay, now you negative. Well, there's the proof you was looking for, right? So that's what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? The truth is not scared of being tested or validated, right? I don't need it, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what we've been experiencing, right? I know what the science is. I know how it works. I know you right, all of that. So it's like some people trust that, some people still need validation, and that's all right. Validation helps with placebo. You know what I'm saying? Because now the next time I tell them something, they're gonna be like, nah, he on this thing, you know what I'm saying? He know what he's talking about. Because every time I go and check, or every time I go and do or get verification or whatever, I find what I'm looking for, right? And so it actually helps you. So if you have a person that's discouraging testing and things like that, I would say that's a red flag. I would say that's something to be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Um, Anybody, you know, afraid of testing is protecting the belief, not health, you know. Um, so the 6th rule, are metaphors being used as science? Now, hey, listen, I'm gonna step on some toes with this one. Shit, you should have wore Timberlands. Listen, metaphors is cool, but treating them as biology is foolish, right? So like when people start talking about electric foods, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna say this again. There's individuals in the community that use what we call self-styled wisdom. Some of y'all don't understand what that is. Your teacher will teach you, and he will talk to you about science and about what is and what isn't. And then sometimes they'll switch up and they'll speak to you in their self-styled wisdom, which is like their flow, their way of saying things, right? And so we've got individuals who in our times have had a certain self-styled wisdom that they used certain words because they were talking to a spiritual community. And now those teachings and words have been taken and carried over into the scientific and healing community, and it's not going to survive here. And so I just wanted to step in real quick and be like, it's all right, y'all. Don't feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody attacking your teachers or, you know what I'm saying, your heroes and none of that. But some of the things that's being said is not right. Okay. What the hell is electrical foods? Okay. That's not the real thing. Okay. Dead hybrids, that's not true. These hybrids have just as much nutritional value as what you might want to call the original plants, but you can't because them shit's been on here for millions of years, and damn near every plant on the planet is a hybrid. That's what y'all not realizing. Like, y'all speaking in terms of once you realized something was on the planet and man gave it a name, and since then it has done something with another plant that we gave another name. And so this isn't natural, and so it's unnatural, and we're going to give it a different name and call it a hybrid. Stop it. Stop it, y'all. Like, y'all learn a little bit more about growing, right? And about plants and how they operate and how they work. Nature is an amazing thing, right? So hybrids are not dead non-electrical foods. Okay. Magnetic blood, alkaline cures everything. All of these types of self-styled wisdoms that are being used are misleading the people. So we need to be cautious of people using that. Like, so you got to be able to ask them, is that a metaphor or is that a measurable process? What you're saying right now, is that something that can be measured? Is that something that is an actual thing, or is that your self-styled wisdom and that's just your way of saying these are some of the best foods to eat because they're going to help to support the body in the challenges that you're facing? Okay, boom. Another thing, man. Be cautious of the us versus them. Okay. I think that people's personal politics and a lot of that type of stuff needs to be left out of alternative healing. I understand that a lot of people are alternative health practitioners because of issues that they have with Western medicine and with doctors and with situations that they might have had that did not serve them correctly and made them feel very unsafe and all types of shit, right? We very aware of that, but we got to be careful of the us versus them mind frame being um, inserted, not just projected, but trying to be inserted into your consciousness. Okay. The doctors are your enemies. They don't want us to know all of this. Science is fake. All we have is our truth. Those types of mindsets to me is a red flag as an alternative health care practitioner, because it's just painting a picture over a full system, over a full ideology. I mean, it's kind of like racism, but in a different form, or sexism in a different form. It's like scientism. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they're Western medicine trained, or they're trained by the government and things like this, so you can't trust them. Now, being aware is one thing, but being made to feel like, you know what I'm saying, everybody is the enemy, that's trying to give off the energy that everybody who's an alternative health practitioner is your friend. Don't believe neither. False binaries are manipulation tools. You know what I'm saying? Health is integrative, not ideological, right? All your ideologies don't belong in the healthcare practitioner. I got a lot of different ideologies. None of them belong in this field, period. And that's why I've left them where they were at, where they need to be, out there. You don't bring that shit into here, because then the client is not the focus. Okay. So that was 7 rules that you can look at, right? When you are approaching looking for an alternative healthcare practitioner or becoming one, can you walk within the limits of what I just said? Can you serve your clients and leaving the ideologies out? Can you serve your clients using real scientific explanations and approaches to the human body? Can you serve your clients with an open understanding and give them clarity about what it is that you're about to give them and why and what type of markers they should look for? Are you okay with walking as an alternative health practitioner and having somebody check behind you and go and maybe get tested or to see that the things that you are giving them and supplying them is actually assisting them? Because if you can't do any of those things, I'd invite you to not attempt to be an alternative healthcare practitioner. If you have an issue with regulation, if you have an issue with being held accountable, I invite you to find something different, like being an artist. Because when we're dealing with people's health and wellness and quality of life, by all means, I think that everybody that is dealing with that person needs to be able to be held accountable. That's what you're signing up for. I'm going to be the person that's accountable for your health and wellness. That's exactly what the job calls for. So, with that being said, all right, stand on that. And if you don't feel like you can, this is not the field that you want to be in. So I leave y'all with that. Should you want more, you're looking for training, you're looking for more resources and understanding on all of these things that we're talking about, log on into www.venompractitioner. That's the Venoms Association, where they speak on all things venom trainings and what it is and why it is and who might want and all of that. So if you're interested, check it out. Also, if you want to follow more, we got a YouTube page, the Psychonaut Academy of Detroit on YouTube. And, other than that, tell somebody you love them in the language they could what? Understand it in. Peace.